Hey, welcome back. Another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm here with Cody. We're talking UFC 318, Dustin Porrier's retirement fight as the UFC heads down to New Orleans.
I'll be right back.
Oh,
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
okay. Cody's just a little MIA right now. But UFC, yeah, they're heading down to New Orleans. And, we've got a card. Whoops. We've got a
Down in the
card that's going to be
bayou.
happening. It's not the best card as far as stakes go. There's almost no stakes on this card when you really look at it. But there's a lot of fun fights. There's while there's no stake, there's a lot of veggies on this. A lot of fights that you just want to see happen. We got Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez. That's a fight years in the making. Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. I mean, they're the same guy. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the trilogy. Paulo Costa taking on Roman Kopylov. He thought he was taking on Roman Dolidze at first, I believe. So, yeah, fun all the way around. Michael Johnson's on the card. We get the grudge match of Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen. Loke Dog, Vinicius Oliveira, he's coming back as well, taking on Kyler Phillips. So, not the worst thing in the world. There's some entertainment to be had on this card. While it may not be the most stacked top to bottom, you don't get a lot of ranked fighters. It's a lot of really wide odds. It's a big card. We got the BMF title on it. UFC wants $80 for it, and damn it, they're gonna get their $80, or you're gonna have to break the law. And Cody, are you still here? No.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just wasn't
Yes,
sure if
sir.
you were still here. Couldn't see you. So,
Nope. I'm still here. Don't worry. I'm
alrighty.
listening.
So, is your video gonna come back?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We are here
All right. I was gonna say,
trying to readjust.
yeah, I'll go ahead and bring you in now. But this card, yeah, it's a card that's happening. How the hell are you doing, my friend? Other than some technical
Um,
difficulties we're experiencing.
Good, my friend. Good, my friend. I'm just trying to readjust here, trying to give a different view this week around. So far so good. I mean, it's just going to be a busy week. Sorry, this card right now is going to be amazing. I think this week I
You,
sound like a complete jack. I didn't realize what was in my background. So
you really think it's gonna be you think it's an amazing card, just the fights, or you think this is like a?
so I'm let me get focused here real quick and I can get settled in. I think it's going to be a great card just because yeah, it's not the biggest names what we're going against here and what we're dealing with, but what I think we're going to see here is a lot of bad motherfuckers. It's the BMF title card, and what we're going to see is a lot of BMF fights, and that's kind of what basically the backbone of this card is. If you listen to Dana White in his press conferences this week, he just did his whole media tour the last couple of days, and if you listen to him, that's basically what he's reiterating is literally that it's just going to be a BMF card. You're going to see tons of just brutal punches, striking, grappling, a lot of ground and pound, a lot of takedowns, occasional submissions. You're going to see a lot of finishes this week, dude. Um, and a lot of people are saying it's not the greatest card. I agree. Honestly, it's really not if you want to look at name wise and for a pay per view and whatnot. But for the aspect of it and for the style of fighting we're going to see, it's going to be an entertaining card for sure. We can't deny that one.
So I definitely think it could be entertaining. I want to circle back to what I was saying in the intro, where I spoke about how you really have to look to find stakes on this card. So with that being said, Cody, what fight do you think has the most at stake, or what fight has the highest stakes in it? I don't think there's a whole lot. I'll give you mine after, but let's hear what you have to say.
I mean, for me personally, dude, it's got to be either the main event or hold on here. Let me get back to my notes. I personally, it's got to be the main event here because it's what, four versus six.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
so
you,
I,
but
I
I mean
it's got
Dustin
to because
Poirier
if
has nothing at stake.
no, it's for Max Holloway though. I mean, if he wins,
I
I mean
think
he gets he
he's also got nothing at stake when you think about it. I mean, he's not going to get a
with the
rematch.
resurgence he's had though, kind of.
He won't get a
It's
rematch
kind of
of
hard to tell.
Topuria. He's coming off of a KO
Yeah,
loss.
but it's Porrier.
Yeah,
You
but
can't really hold that against him.
I know, but
Um,
I'm just saying he won't get that rematch for the sole purpose that Topuria is not in the market of rematches. He is on his. He's moving. Like once he beats you, he's like, all right, I reached that level. I'm going up higher. I'm not coming back to give you another chance. This is about.
No,
You know what I mean? That this is Topuria's
right.
story. He's not letting anybody else tell their story at this time,
I
and
mean,
he's
we
doing a
we have a
great
lot
job.
of like we have a 13-14 matchup. Um, there's not a lot of high stake guys. There's a couple fighters that can fight into the top 15, but I mean, at most though, I mean, for the what it is though, I that's what I have though. Is it's going to be it has to be the main event with the most at stake for just Max Holloway in general for me because a lot of the young guys on this, I mean, there's not really many young guys on here fighting for up and coming position really.
Yeah.
So it's just one of them. Just hey, we got a bunch of badass fighters on this card really.
Well, you know what it is during the summertime, those old farts can come out and fight. They can't in the winter because their bones cramp up and everything. They lock up. So you got to get them in while it's warm out. And last weekend we had a card full of old farts, and this weekend we got a card with quite a few old farts. But for me, there's a couple fights I think you could go between based on how you want to look at it. You could say Pitbull versus Ige just because for Pitbull, he's going, he's defending Bellator's reputation. What's that mean to you? Not much to me. So that fight maybe. Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vettori, grudge match. They don't like each other. And then Roman Kopilov versus Paulo Costa for a ranking spot, but not a lot at stake because Costa's just a fun fighter at this point. He fights once a year, if that. So not a lot at stake on this card. So with that being said, it's a fun card, no stakes. How do you grade it if you were to grade this card on a through F scale? How are you grading it?
Now we're grading it via pay-per-view fight night scale. That's kind of how I break it down because I can't just go A on a fight night card and that's it's
Yeah,
just not the same scale, you know.
yeah. No,
For a
we're going on a
pay-per-view,
pay-per-view scale.
but for a pay-per-view, I give it a B. I really do. I'm a solid fan of this card. I mean, by the sounds of it, you're not by it really many by much, which is it's fine. I mean,
It's a
people have their
fun
own flavor and
card, but
taste.
it's just not a
Um,
card I see you. I can't justify charging $80 for this card. If you get what I'm saying, this is a fun card. This isn't an $80 card.
I mean, it just depends. Yeah, but I mean, do you pay for cards?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Sorry,
Well,
Dana.
yeah, no.
Um, but that's just here. That's just here near. Neither here nor there though. But for me though, it's got to be a B though, because I mean, even the prelims, like you said, Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. I mean, there's just a lot of bad blood there. So it's just you got a lot of fun fights warming up, and then you got a lot of fun, entertaining fights that are going to be just captivating the night though. If you think about it coming out, and then we're going to just have a banger just to top off the night, a 5 round just war.
Yeah, if it goes
What about you,
five
dude?
rounds, I went with the C plus. The card's not horrible. I don't think the card's bad by any means. I just think that there's no stakes. A lot of fun fights, but no stakes on the card. No meat on the bone, if you will. Because I mean, the Max Holloway fight. If Max loses that fight, what's the big deal? That's not the end of the world for him. He lost to Dustin Poirier as Poirier sailed off into the sunset. And Holloway's a big enough name that you can slot him in any main event at any time or co-main on a pay-per-view. BMF belt doesn't really mean anything. So yeah, I gave it a C plus. It's gonna be a fun main event, a lot of fun fights. We'll probably walk away from that Sunday morning and be like, that was an awesome night of fights. But there's still there's nothing that it gives us. There's nothing new that it gives us.
I can see what you're saying there.
So that brings us to our next question, our next talking point, and that's the over under on finishes. Big over last week, eight finishes on 12 fights. Now we raised the line by one this week because we got 14 fights. So instead of a 5.5 fight line, we're going with 6.5. And Cody, are we hitting that this week, or are we going under or over?
I think we're going to go over just with the amount of fights that we have on this card. On top of that, it's going to be just vicious fights the entire night. I mean, starting off with the early prelims, I think we're going to see probably one or two finishes there. And then going into the prelims, you might see two to three there. And then going into the main card, you might see another two to three there. I could easily see here six, seven, eight, nine finishes here out of these 14, 15 fights that we see on Saturday. What about you, brother? What are you thinking here?
I'm thinking we're probably going over. I hope so at least, because you look at Carly Judice and Nicole Cagliari. Carly Judice 4-2, but all four wins are by finish. She's a hometown girl. She's the minus 350 favorite, so that's gonna go not go into the scorecards. Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. These guys both have a 100% finish rate, not going to the cards. I have a feeling Islam Dulatov is going to get Adam Fugit out of there. So there's three just on the early prelims. Atiba Gautier versus Robert Valentin. He's getting him out of there. So there's four for you. Francisco Prada versus Varetnikov. Both guys have been finished a few times, so I could see that finishing. Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vittori's guaranteed scorecards. And yeah, so I'm going over. I think I like the over on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun night. I see you got a lot of good chins on this one, but I just don't see a lot of them prevailing. I mean, this is just gonna be a lot of heavy pace, a lot of heavy strikes, and a lot of good groundwork too. Honestly,
Yeah, it's a lot of good matchups, a lot of really wide odds on this card. So let's talk about our next point. It's the sleeper prelim. We do this every card, but what's the sleeper prelim for you this card, Cody?
it's not really a sleeper. It's kind of public with what they got, but it's got to be the Marvin Vittori and Brendan Allen fight for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's they've already brawled outside the octagon once, so let's just bring it into the octagon and let them finish it there. But Vittori just dude, he's relentless with his pressure wrestling, dude. He's fun as fuck to watch. Um, but the thing with Allen, he counters with like a sick grappling, you know. So it's really just tough for him. But he has an elite back takes with Allen, and he's an exciting fighter to watch, in my opinion. Um, it's a battle of styles. If we really want to look at it with momentum and stuff like that, it's just there's rankings on the line in this fight. It's just I think this one here for the prelim aspect, it's got to be that one, or I don't want to take another pick from you, but maybe the Oliveira fight. That's another fun one,
Motherfucker.
but I'm not going to take that though because my one I have for my sleeper here is the Vittoria and Brendan Allen fight though.
Yeah, with that being a grudge match, I could see that being a fun fight. My pick was Loke Dog versus Kyler Phillips. I just think that's going to be a really fun matchup. Now, you look at Marvin Vittori, since he hasn't won a fight since a decision over Roman Dolidze in March of 2023, and since losing to Adesanya, he's 2-3 in the UFC, coming off two
Mm-hmm.
consecutive decision losses. He just hasn't been able to pull the trigger lately. Brendan Allen, both these guys are young, but Brendan Allen seems to be way more of a finisher. I don't necessarily think he'll finish Marvin Vittori because Marvin Vittori just doesn't get finished, but I think Brendan Allen he's going to be a lot more explosive and be able to get the job done. Um, yeah, that's what I think about. That's what I think about that one. And yeah, but Loke Dog versus Kyler Phillips. It's gonna be Kyler Phillips pace early. His we're lagging a little bit. What's going on?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it back. There we go. We are back. All right. So yeah, it's gonna be Kyler Phillips pace early. He kind of gasses late. We lost a viewer because of lag. Oh my god. But he gasses late. Loke Dog's just a dangerous finisher. Guy's been taken down in each of his fights, but he ends up finishing just about everybody except Saeed Nurmagomedov. He's he's just dangerous. The dude's got dynamic striking, big power for the 135-pound weight class. So I like Loke Dog in that fight, and I think it's going to be a really fun fight where Kyler Phillips might have some success early, and Loke Dog might be weathering the storm, come back for a late finish. But yeah, that's my sleeper is Loke Dog versus Kyler Phillips. And before we get into the main event or the main card breakdown, Cody, we're gonna reflect on Dustin Poirier's career. It's his retirement fight, and we're gonna talk about the best three Dustin Poirier moments. What are your top three Dustin Poirier moments? Can be fights, just moments in general. What are your favorite moments from Poirier? Start with three, go to one. Don't start with one.
So it's going to be three fights. That's just the three things that I remember. Honorable mention is that intro that he did for that guy that remixed the Diamonds that Rihanna made with Kanye.
Hmm.
He came out at 302 with. That was fun. Good little honor he did to him. But for me personally, number three's got to be the knockout of Michael Chandler at UFC 281. Just that was a fun ass fight. That was a war, dude. Just really just showed us kind of the beginning of kind of what we were expecting. One from Chandler, two the prime of Porrier that we were seeing at the time, because that was right around the time getting ready for McGregor. Um, or no, that followed McGregor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that
And
was
then,
after his couple fights with McGregor, and
yep. So that was right in the. It was showing us right in the prime of Poirier, dude. I think that was one. Just that was a war, dude. That was fun.
that was a fun
Um,
fight.
Number two, it's got to be the fight of the year war itself versus Dan Hooker.
That
I
fight
think
was
just
that fight was amazing.
yeah, June 4th, 2020, dude. During COVID, man,
Yeah,
insane. Dude, the just the fact that Dana White was able to put that on during COVID, man, that was a freaking insane fight. The war that they put on, showing us Dan Hooker showing us that he still had it at that time, just being the complete elite warrior that he is. And then it was Poirier was literally just breaking into his peak at that point. And that was kind of his introduction to everybody. I mean, he had been coming up and just fighting early on, fighting low level UFC fights his whole career almost.
well,
But
that was after he fought Khabib.
mhm.
So he had already fought for the title at that point, but that was kind of a coming out party of like, hey, I'm Mr. Violence. That was awesome.
No, absolutely. And then my number one's got to be the intern title win fight versus Max Holloway in 2019. That
That
one, dude, that was the that's probably one of my top five favorite fights of all time.
Yeah,
It
that
was
fight
just
would have won fight of the year if not right before that. Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum had one of the best fights of all time that got inducted into the
exactly,
Hall of Fame.
exactly, dude. That would and the fact that I mean you couldn't really compete with the Kevin Gastelum and Adesanya fight there. That could have won fight of that decade. Honestly, it could have been competing for that. It was insane. We really that was fucking insane. Actually, now I'm just thinking about it, I'm seeing a playback in my head. um,
Hey, I'm ready to die.
dude, I know. I'm like, when I seen that, I'm like, what? I remember being hammered at a bar and just
Yeah,
sitting
his
there going,
lips
just
split.
smacking my buddy's chest, like, no fucking way this is happening right now. This man is willing to die in an octagon.
That
That
was an
was
amazing,
insane.
amazing
Um,
moment.
but for sure though, man, it's got to be that's my number one is the interim title fight versus Holloway. Those dudes just beat the living shit out of each other that night, and it was just, I mean, that was Max's prime, and Poirier's kind of like right around the Khabib fight prime as well. P coming into my own, like, hey, I'm still that bad motherfucker. I'm. Don't worry, I'm here type ordeal, like you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a similar list. For number three for me, while it was a loss, it was his loss to Islam Makhachev where he went out there, showed everybody he still got it. He put on a valiant effort, hurt Makhachev, just showed that he's still top of the sport. It's just he went up against pound for pound and just barely fell short. So that was my number three. Just a great moment for Dustin Poirier as far as a losing effort and still being a winner. Number two, his fights with Eddie Alvarez. Both the first and the second, while the first ended in a no contest because of a foul, the second he gets a TKO. They were absolute wars. The guys were just beating the shit out of each other the whole fight. And Poirier's got tons of fights like that with Justin Gaethje, with Conor McGregor. You know, Conor beats the shit out of him. He beats the shit out of Conor. But he's got fights like that all over the place. And then number one, I got the Dan Hooker fight at the start of COVID. You're number two. For me, that's number one. Like you said, it was fight of the year at that time. It was at the very start of COVID. We could hear every shot. It was our introduction to the Apex, the first true banger to happen in the Apex. and you could hear every shot, and these dudes were just cracking each other. And what you really saw was Porrier. You thought maybe he kind of was over the hill at that point because he's coming off the Khabib loss, and you're like, is this guy over the hill? No, he goes out there, takes everything Dan Hooker has, and ends up putting it on him in the fifth round to get that victory.
Dude, the intro to the Apex was the fucking peak of COVID.
That got so many MMA fans, and I think a lot of them are phasing out now because that's
I
just
know, dude.
you got a 5 year lifespan for trendy fans. I think when you look at MMA, you have the tough fans from the late 2000s to early 2000 teens, and then you have the Conor Ronda fans up to about 2019 is where they started to die off, and then what do you know? COVID comes in. You get the COVID fans, and now it makes sense that we're in a bit of a lull right now. The sport goes in waves, and that's just the way this sport is. And I think that we're starting to see an uptick in the fights we're getting, in the storylines and the stars, and that'll bring a new set of fans. The Topuria wave of fans, the streamer fans, the Nelk fans, the Aiden Ross fans, those kind of guys, and the entire Republican Party, for goodness sakes. I mean, oh, froze. There we go.
You're good. No, I mean absolutely. You hit the nail on the coffin. I mean,
I'm
there's just
sure
so many.
that's not the saying.
You hit the nail on the head. Sorry.
There you go. I was just
You
like,
hit the nail
hold
in the.
up.
You hit the nail in the coffin. But no, you said it though, right on point though. It's that's kind of the point that they're going forward. They're trying to be progressive. Like I was listening to a lot of, like I was saying earlier, Dana's presses this week, and they're trying to be progressive with the UFC. The way they talk every Thursday about putting their fights together. They want to try to make sure that these cards they put together, it grasps the next generation of fans because they're going to need it because like you said, it comes in waves. I mean, I feel like that's in all combat sports though, because everyone has their favorite fighter they clinch onto, and they have a prime of 5 to 6 years, maybe 7, fan out after maybe 10, and then that's all she wrote.
Well, yeah, I
And
mean, you look at boxing, even though McGregor was around, or Mayweather was around, and Pacquiao was around, it was kind of in a down spot for 20 years almost before it started to make its turnaround, 15, 20 years. So you're right about that with combat sports. Now, the other combat sports never really seem to have more than a year or two of success, and then they just die and fall off a cliff, never to be heard from again. You look at BKFC, which is kind of the exception. They're a fringe sport, but everything else, if kickboxing comes around and it's a little successful, or Muay Thai, they are for a very short while before people are like, oh, everything kind of looks the same in these. Everybody says in MMA all they want is striking. If you did, you'd watch kickboxing and you'd get bored.
exactly, exactly. And for people that say they just want all that, yeah, they would also turn on to like if they want pure violence, they would turn on the slap fight. They would turn on other things like that. So
Yeah, and they're
there's plenty of combat. There's plenty of combat. And yeah, they're not watching it.
all right. So we'll move on to our main card breakdown. We're gonna kick things off with the main event. Dustin Poirier taking on Max Holloway in the trilogy fight. Poirier a plus 110 dog right now. Max Holloway a minus 130 favorite, and right now Poirier is 2-0 in the head to head. So it's not looking great. But Max Holloway wasn't dedicated to being a lightweight when they fought the first time, and now he is. He's moved up. He had a phenomenal knockout over Justin Gaethje. He's coming off of the knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. But this fight, it's both guys are going to want to keep it in striking range. It's going to be a boxing match for the most part. We might see a couple of kicks, but we're going to see a lot of boxing in this fight. How do you see this fight going down? Who's winning this fight, Cody?
I don't know who's winning this fight, to be honest with you, man. It's just this one's going to be back and forth because one, you have to think with Poirier coming in 2-0, he's got the psychological advantage on Holloway, knowing that he's come in, he's got him twice, he's got his number. But at the same time, Holloway's looked, even though he lost to Porrier and got knocked out, he looked good though for what he when he was still in the cage with him.
Yeah, he
And
flashed moments of greatness in that fight. He he
yes,
he put up the best fight against Topuria of anybody that's fought him to this point. Even though he got knocked out, people say the Josh Emmett and the Jai Herbert fight, but you look at it, and Max Holloway truly had the most success while Jai rocked him for a moment, and Josh Emmett made it to the bell. It was 50-42 for God's sake. The fight should have been stopped. So Max definitely still has it. I don't think that's an issue for either guy.
no, absolutely not. And for me, dude, it's like I could see Holloway walking away with this one just because Poirier has looked like he's kind of on the way down in his last couple fights. His body just doesn't look the same in these fights, even though he still has the heart and the grit to do it. But your bones don't hold up the same every time. Especially now. When is he? He's going to be 36. I mean, he's still technically kind of young, but he's been in a lot of fights. And for him coming in on just pure emotion, I think, man, it can go either way. And I love that Holloway is going to play the villain role in this one, even though he's kind of in his hometown too.
Well,
Um,
Holloway definitely the villain role, but he's from Hawaii, hombre.
but the home crowd, it's kind of like it's not what I make. What my You're right. He is from Hawaii. What did I mean there?
Well,
I
it's
guess
Poirier's home
it's
crowd.
Poirier. I know it's Poirier's
Holloway's playing the
hometown.
villain, even though he's
Correct.
kind of a face. Is that what you meant? Like,
No, I wrote down that wrong. Because I wrote down he's embracing the villain role and he wants the home crowd to boo him. Is
uh,
what I wrote down. I just
okay,
said it wrong.
I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I just kind of got into a kind of a twist of words there, but I could see Holloway walking away with this one, with the volume and kicks that he's got with the distance control. Um, but with Poirier's compact boxing, I'm just going to throw a dart at the wall. I'm going to walk away and say Holloway's going to walk away with this one by decision.
I, and
I
I
don't know. What about you, man?
I don't hate that. For me, I think Dustin Poirier is going to win this. I'm pretty confident in that as well. You know, I don't think Max is washed. I don't think either of the guys are. They both are great boxers. I think what it's going to come down to is Dustin Poirier's strikes do a little more damage than Max Holloway's. And I think that if it goes to the decision, Dustin Poirier's shots are going to register with the judges a little more. And if someone does get stopped, I could see it being Holloway off of a counter from Poirier in close. Because while Poirier, you mentioned his body seems to be failing him a little bit. He did say this was the best camp he's had in a long time. And even if the body's failing him, he's not going to be wrestling a whole lot in this fight. It's going to be a lot of striking, a lot of boxing, and that's not in MMA. That's not using as much of your body as wrestling, jiu-jitsu, having to mix the martial arts. You're not going to see as much of the mixing in this fight. So I think Poirier is going to win either decision or TKO, but I like Poirier here, and rides off into the sunset, retires the BMF belt. We don't hear about this nonsense anymore, and we can just have fun fights again and maybe get back to the way it was when UFC was super enjoyable and there were always fun fights and not everybody was fighting certain people to position themselves. Just fight to fight and make a name for yourself, and then we're going to love you and people are going to tune in. You're going to get elevated without even having to fight the top guys. So that's my thoughts on that. But we'll move on to the co-main event. We got Paulo Borrachinha Costa taking on Roman Kopylov. And Paulo Costa, he's 1-4 in his last 5, plus 200 dog here. Kopylov coming back minus 250. And Costa's been away for over a year. He's taking on a surging striker in Kopylov. Guy's got nasty kicks. He's coming off a head kick knockout over Chris Curtis in the waning seconds of that fight. And Paulo Costa, he's looked different in each fight, but how do you see this fight going down? Are we going to see a resurgence of the eraser of Borrachinha, or is it going to be Kopylov's time to shine? Because when Kopylov moved up recently, or the last time he fought a ranked fighter, he failed, and he had to go back to the drawing board. So this is his first chance or second chance to get into the rankings. How's this fight going down, Cody?
It's got to be Kopylov here, man. I know that the momentum is on his side and everything too, and but when we've seen out of Costa's last few fights, it's not looking good, honestly. And for somebody who's on the rise, coming in with all the momentum, I just see him riding that wave, dude. And like you said, coming off that amazing the head kick KO off of Chris Curtis, dude. Oh my gosh. Um, he just combines technical striking with a rain of just calm, measured attacks, dude. He's insane. I love watching Kopylov fight, dude. If you really want, like, if you're a true fighter fan, sorry, you're gonna fall in love with this guy. He's really fun to watch. Um, I I like him. He's an efficient southpaw. I like efficient southpaw fighters. They're fun to watch. Because a lot of their stuff, it's just gonna hit, and you're not worried about them just tagging a lot. They're coming, and when they do their force, it's force. Um, I like Kopylov. I could see him getting another knockout win here. Um, it just depends on how Costa's feeling and how his chin's holding up. But I could see this one definitely, maybe a mid, early third round TKO, maybe knockout in the favor of Kopylov, brother. Heavily. I don't know how you're feeling here, but because I think you like Costa a little bit, just because you're fandom. But I want to hear where you're coming at with this one.
Yeah, listen, Costa's taken this one. He's underrated. The guys that he's lost to are the cream of the crop. He lost to Marvin Vittori when Marvin Vittori was on top of the world. He lost to Robert Whitaker, Israel Adesanya, and who was the other guy he lost to? I can't even remember at this moment. But regardless, he's still lost 4 fights. But the guy's not looked terrible in the fights that he's lost. And, oh, Strickland was the other one. Another top guy. Costa's got nasty fast kicks. He's got a spinning wheel kick that you don't see coming. He's a powerful dude. He said on the Ariel Helwani show that he's going to be coming forward in this fight, getting back. What is going on with our stream here? But he's going to be getting back to the Borussia of old, the attacker. And while that might work into what's his name's Kopilov's advantage, I think that at the end of the day, Costa's just going to be pressuring him. It's going to look better for the judges. He's going to get a decision win, and people are going to be like, oh, yeah, Paulo Costa is still really good. Paulo Costa is still a really good fighter. We just haven't got to see a lot of him. So I'm riding with Costa. He's my dog. He's funny as shit. And, yeah, he just seems to be saying all the right things. So I like Costa here. But we'll move on.
Okay,
We got Kevin
I
Holland versus
respect it.
Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Holland minus 475. He actually surged up to minus 535 earlier today. But D-Rod anywhere from plus 340 to plus 450, depending on where you're looking. And we're going to go all the way back to September 9th, 2022, the weigh-in dates for UFC card headlined by Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz. Khamzat Chimaev misses weight by 7.5 pounds, and it causes the entire card to be shuffled. Khamzat ends up taking on Kevin Holland, who was originally supposed to fight Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez fights Li Jinglang in a fight that he wins by split decision. Kevin Holland loses his fight. Nate Diaz ends up fighting Tony Ferguson. So all that happened. This fight was initially booked. We're here 3 years later, and we're finally getting it. Kevin Holland's given Daniel Rodriguez that fight back. But Kevin Holland should kill this dude. He's going to box his head off. He's got the range. He's a way better striker. While D-Rod's coming off 2 wins in a row, he's old. He's looked a little washed. The TKO over Ponzinibbio is a very washed and old Ponzinibbio. Do you see anything different here? Is there any value on D-Rod as the huge dog here, or is it definitely going Kevin Holland's way? Just because Kevin Holland's been on a tear, and at welterweight, Kevin Holland is elite. At middleweight, he sucks. Or is mid, we could say. We could say he's mid. But at welterweight, he's elite. Is there any value on D-Rod?
He's elite. I no. 'Cause you said it jumped to minus 535, and about an hour before the show, it jumped up to minus 550 now. So it's definitely going in the favor of Kevin Holland in the books. And yeah, like you said, he came back down to welterweight, and he's a stud at welterweight. I don't see much out of Rodriguez. There's a chance. There's always a fighter's chance. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has a shot in every fight. But if it comes down to it, Kevin Holland's going to walk away with this one easily. in my opinion. I don't see it finishing. I really don't. I see this one because the dude has like what, a 7 inch reach on him, 8 inch, yeah, 7 inch reach on him,
Yeah,
8 inch reach.
I could
It's
definitely
silly,
see this one going to the cards just because Kevin Holland does go to the cards a lot, but it's so hard to predict how a Kevin Holland fight is going to finish because he's so good at striking, but when it goes to the ground, he locks up those chokes like crazy. And then sometimes he goes out there and just beats on dudes for 15 minutes and gets the decision win. So it's so hard to tell how he's going to win. But I am pretty
right?
confident that he's going to get the win. I would imagine a TKO because normally his submissions don't come from him shooting takedowns. It comes from somebody shooting a takedown on him, and then he sprawls into an anaconda, into a darce, into something along those lines. So, yeah, we're on the same page, though. Daniel Rodriguez doesn't have much of a shot here. But that brings us to our next fight. Dan 50K Ige, minus 220 favorite over Patricio Pitbull, coming back plus 180. And this fight fucking bangs, dude. These guys are the same exact dude. One from Brazil, one from America. Pitbull's way more decorated, legend of the sport. He's got a bit better of a jiu-jitsu game. Dan Ige is going to be a bit better on the feet, but they're the same height. Ige's got a reach advantage, but I don't think it's going to matter because he fights pretty short. He fights within himself, short range fighter. So I love this fight. I think that Dan Ige is getting this done though. I think he's going to catch him inside with one of his check hooks, and I think it's going to put Pitbull out. It sucks because I don't want to see Pitbull go 0-2 in the UFC, but I think this is a bad matchup for him. Pitbull has been historically difficult to finish, but I just, if it goes to the ground, even though I give Pitbull the advantage, Dan Ige is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's going to be able to take care of himself, defend what Pitbull has coming. And I like Dan Ige here. He's not going to shoot takedowns. He's got a good team. He's going to get a TKO. What say you, Cody?
Dude, we're on the same page with this one, man. I I've had this stance probably for the last couple of months where I just don't have much faith in these Bellator fighters. I know he's decorated and everything like that, but like you said, he's not coming into a favorable matchup here. Like you said, black belt in jiu-jitsu, and Dan Ige, dude, he combines striking with takedowns, and he's an excellent fighter, man. He's all around, dude. He's coming off that TKO win against Sean Woodson 314. That was just, I mean, short arm, just attack, just brutal punches when he gets close to you. It's just, yeah, you can't allow that. And the thing with Pitbull, he allows you to get close, and that's just his weakness here. It's not gonna it's not a matchup that he wants. Um, I'm excited that he took the matchup because, like you said, this matchup bangs. It's gonna bang, but it's not gonna bang in Patricia Pitbull's favor. And 0-2 in the UFC. I don't know where we go from here on him. I don't know. We keep giving him these pay-per-view fights just because of his name and what he's done in other leagues and things like that.
You do.
But I do we?
Yeah, this
Why?
dude. Oh, he's just, when Bellator was at the peak, he came to the UFC too late. It wasn't because Bellator was bad that he's losing. This dude has already been through a 16 or an 18-year career. He's 37 years old, started fighting at 18. And he started fighting in Bellator. He knocked out Michael Chandler when Michael Chandler was at his peak. I mean, before he came to the UFC, when Michael Chandler was the lightweight champion in Bellator, Patricio Pitbull moved up to 145 and knocked him out in the first round. So Pitbull is an absolute stud. It's just the world didn't get to see him at his prime because Bellator had a Showtime deal and Showtime didn't know what to do with MMA.
I can see your point there, and I can understand it there, man. I really can.
And with the Patchy Mix thing, I don't know if he's past his prime. That dude is an absolute stud, though. I think what happened with him, I heard that he had to cut 30 pounds, and that fight was on 3 weeks' notice, so that could have been a huge issue for the movement we saw from him. Aaron Pico was supposed to be fighting on next week's card in Abu Dhabi. That fight with Movsar Evloev got canceled. I'm not sure who got hurt, but someone got hurt. But yeah, Pitbull came late. He's 38 years old now, so he's been fighting for 20 years. he beat everybody that was the best not in the UFC, and he didn't give anybody even a chance. He was a he was a 2 division champion. Went down, challenged for greatness at 135. He lost because of the weight cut, but I mean that was even when he was older. Other than that, he had a loss to Benson Henderson, and really just destroyed everybody else. Destroyed him. Yeah, knocked out knocked out Michael Chandler, knocked out Pedro Carvalho. AJ McKee's got a win over Adam Borix. Jeremy Kennedy. He's a beast. He came late. And I have no thoughts for this final fight on the main card, but I'll let you take this one away, Cody. Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Michael Johnson's a huge dog here at a plus 425, minus 650 for Daniel Zellhuber. Any value here, or is this fight matched or marked perfectly by the odds makers?
I think the value is if you have the dollars to sprinkle on it. If it gets to mid round two and the round three, and it's still up, throw a couple bucks on Michael Johnson if it's plus 2,500. Because if you can get, if you can get him at like plus 2,500, and if he gets it into the later rounds, he has a chance if his stamina holds up in this one potentially just to get one punch to land. But outside of that, dude, Zellhuber's coming up. He's one of them up and comers, man. I think if he wins here, it's going to propel him into the top 15. And it's just he's one of them guys that are on the rise right now that eventually are just going to get his chance. He's going to be elite. Let's just be real. He's going to be elite. He's really good.
I think he definitely could. You know, he's coming off a loss on UFC Noche and a fight of the year contender to Rebovitz. Daniel Zellhuber likes to bang. Michael Johnson, he's a super fast striker. He's got powerful strikes as well. He can knock you out with one shot still at his old age. But he's a little bit chinny, and I think if Daniel Zellhuber goes in there, puts him on his back foot, and just tries to make it a brawl, he can get him out of there pretty easily.
I agree. I think it's gonna be a pretty early finish. But like I said, if it can somehow make it to the later parts of round two, early three, and it's allowing you to do some live placement bets on Michael Johnson, fuck it, try it. You never know what's gonna land.
Maybe Zellhuber gasses out. You never know.
Exactly.
Well, that brings us to our bets. The bets that we place. They don't all have to be on the main card. But you got $1,000 or 10 units by $100 each. How you sprinkling this out? You were down 5.8 units last week. I was up 7.2, I believe, 7.8. But how'd you do? Or how you spreading your money this week, Cody?
I got 4. I kind of doubled down on the same thing, but so I got Dan Ige by TKO or KO by or points. This is one of the double chances that DK and FanDuel offer.
Okay.
It's gonna be at minus 185 odds. This is gonna be a parlay. Holland and Rodriguez to go the distance. No. Those two combined adds up to a plus 135. $400 brings back 940.
Okay, hold on. Plus 135, 400 brings back 940. Okay.
Yes, sir. I got Zellhuber by TKO or KO or points on one of those double chances. I got Kopilov money line, and I got Carly Judas money line in the early prelims. That's going to be a plus 152. 300 brings back 757. And then I got Marcin Pracino.
Okay.
Pracino.
Yep.
Money line at plus 220. I'm going to throw 150 on that to bring back 480.
Okay.
And then I'm going to sit same money line, Pracino, and then Oliveira money line to parlay together. 150 brings back 772.
Okay.
Those are my four spread out 1,000. I'm really heavy on Precneo because I don't know why they have him so low in the dogs.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Jimmy Crute hasn't won a fight since 2020.
no, he's looked terrible.
Yeah, so I don't hate that. I myself, I have two bets on this card.
Big spread,
Big
big
spreads.
money on him.
Mm-hmm. First one's a parlay, you see.
I
Fir-
see.
First one, we got Kevin Holland, Dan Ige, Dustin Poirier, all money line, plus 280 gives us 500 back. At or plus 280, 500 bucks gives us 1904. So 5 units gives us 19.04 units. And then
Okay.
I got Paulo Costa money line plus 195, 500 on him, 1478 back. Let's go. Just need one bet to hit, and
Ooh,
we're cooking with fire.
ooh. Okay. So I need. So one of us is gonna hit that. I think.
Yeah.
Zellhuber is gonna get the TKO or KO points because he's not a sub guy. I think Carly Judas is gonna win. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
convincing there. And then now it's gonna be Kopylov or Costa there for mine or you, man.
Yeah. And that's what
I
we
love
have
it.
for you for the UFC 318 card. Now we're going to get into some other ventures around the combat sports world. You know, we got a fun weekend in boxing coming up. We got PFL Champion Series, daytime MMA on ESPN Plus. A good card from PFL for what it's worth for what they can put on. And Cody, with this PFL Champion Series being headlined by Johnny Eblen defending his middleweight championship versus Castelo Van Steenis, we get the return of Dakota Ditcheva. We get the return of AJ McKee. We get the return of Corey Anderson. How do you grade this card as far as your excitement level for the PFL? Is there no excitement to it, or is this something that interests you because they're trying, they're doing new things, they're finally putting out a card that's worth watching, and it's not behind a paywall. It's there to watch. How do you grade this card on an excitement level?
On an excitement level for something that's not UFC, it's got to be in the upper echelon of grades. It's got to be in the high B's, especially with what they're doing. One, it's on Saturday. It's on the weekend. Two, it's at 2 o'clock on Saturday. What else is going on Saturday at 2 o'clock other than daytime baseball? But nobody's really paying attention to that
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
not
It's
time of the
it's
year for it.
July. So it's perfectly slotted, and we got Kevin Agandi leading it. They got great ESPN talent on it, so they're trying. You can't hate it. And if people want to listen, like you put out a 14-minute, 15-minute show today about PFL. I recommend everyone going and listening to it. You're definitely breaking it down perfectly. Um, because some of the fighters you brought up, I completely forgot about because they haven't been in the UFC for so long.
Yeah, or they
And
haven't fought for so long because the PFL had.
exactly, and they're getting the perfect opportunity, and they're doing a new setup, which is it's all right. It's something new, but they're trying and they're doing something that one's not doing, Bellator's not doing.
Well,
They're
Bellator got absorbed by him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
so
they're
it
trying to
wasn't
be the
trying.
alternative. Absolutely. I gave this an A plus on a curve, giving it on the PFL curve for what they can put out. It's not Francis Ngannou against a nobody headlined and then a bunch of random fighters on it. It's just a solid card with the best fighters they can put out. I gave this an A plus on the PFL curve. And Jonathan Coachman in that town hall, he said, give us a chance. Quit being so negative on us. Just give us a chance. We're an MMA league. If you support MMA, you should support us. I'm going to give him a shot because he's absolutely right. They're doing all the right things with this. They're not going head to head with the UFC. They're going on at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. I mean, yeah, UFC card that evening might MMA out some people. The diehards are going to watch it though. And I'm with you. I think this is the right move for PFL. They need to do more things like this so people keep tuning in and people can get excited about PFL. And that brings me to our next talking point for this. What's your most anticipated combat sporting event for the weekend? The match, most anticipated match for the weekend. What is it for me?
I mean, for the sake of it, everything, it's got to be the walk off. We're gonna see Porrier come out with Lil Wayne, dude, and then he's gonna tip it off to some James Brown. We're gonna see Holloway come out gloves up, belt on the shoulder. You know it's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be electric. Louisiana, the crowd's always fun down there in New Orleans, man. They know how to put on a show. They are rowdy down there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be. It sucks that Rogan's not going to be on the call. And we're going to have. It is what it is, you know. But we're still going to have DC. We're going to still have everyone else. Um, but it's going to be a fun call. It's going to be a fun card, and just the antics coming out with the walkouts, putting the gloves down, and just walking away. Because if he walks away victorious, it's going to cap off the night. It really will. It's going to be so fun. Um, yeah, right now for this weekend, it's got to be Poirier Holloway. That's my most anticipated match. What about you, dude?
So that fight's kind of bittersweet for me because I almost don't want to see either guy lose. But my most anticipated for the weekend, it was tough to choose. I think Pacquiao returning is a. I couldn't pick one, but Pacquiao returning to take on Mario Barrios for the belt at I think 147. That's a fun storyline. You know, he's 46 years old. That's just entertaining to me. And if he can do it, that puts him in a different class of fighters to be able to be one of those guys to come back at an older age in boxing and win a belt after having such success at a younger age. And then you have Daniel Dubois taking on Alexander Usyk in the rematch. Dubois had a controversial knockdown that could have stopped the fight, but they said it was a low blow. He said it was a body shot. It is what it is. He ended up getting stopped because he gassed out, but he's been on an absolute tear since that fight, stopping everybody, stopping Anthony Joshua and everybody else that he's gone up against. And then in the MMA world, I'm excited for the ditch of a return, but that fight's not really a needle mover for me as far as she's fighting Sumiko Inaba, who is what it is, but she's 8-1. She's not at the experience or the skill level of a Dakota Ditcheva. For me, the MMA event I'm most looking forward to is Danny Gay and Patricio Pitbull. I just think that fight's going to be fireworks. I think those guys are going to go to war, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I do think that this is another weekend where boxing kind of beats the UFC in the events that they're putting on with the Dubois-Usyk fight, with the Pacquiao-Barrios fight, and there's another fight I'm forgetting about that's going on that's going to be very exciting this weekend. I can't remember what it is. But a couple more bits and pieces of news before we let you go. The numbers are in from Netflix for the Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano fight, and it had an average high of 6 million viewers during the show. So not near the Tyson Paul levels, where their second fight they had 75 million average viewers. But you didn't expect that. The fight kind of sucked, so it didn't gain a lot of new fans either. I don't know if Netflix will continue down this women's boxing route, but 6 million viewers is still pretty good. It's the highest viewed women's sporting event of the year. So shout out to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano carrying the flag for women's boxing. And then
Absolutely.
Vitor Belfort, he's got a fight booked in boxing. He's gonna be taking on Vanderlei Silva on September 27th.
What?
Yeah, in boxing.
What?
Tony Ferguson also has a boxing match booked. He's going to be taking on Salt Poppy on the Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold undercard, taking on Salt Poppy as the co-main event. I believe they have that fight listed as. Other bits and pieces of news. PFL
What?
featherweight champ of 2024, I believe, Timur Kizriev. There's video out there. He got shot 5 times. Now he's fine.
Yeah,
He's not
I've seen
dead.
that, dude.
He's in the hospital, but he's doing just fine.
Over in Dagestan, dude. What the hell?
Russia, what do you do? They're badasses. And then Alexander Volkov has his next fight booked. He's going to be taking on Yalton Almeida at UFC 321, and that could be a title eliminator for the heavyweight division. Heavyweight's thin. You could give it to Derek Lewis after what he's done lately because of how thin heavyweight is, and he's got a name. But yeah, that's a fun fight that's booked. It moves the needle at heavyweight, even though it's not a real needle mover of a fight. And I don't know. That's all I got for you. I'm looking forward to this card this weekend. We're going to try to do a watch along. Cody, if you want to join a Zoom, absolutely do that. If you're busy, I understand.
Hell yeah.
But you got any parting words for the viewers before we let them go?
Just get ready to watch fireworks, man. It's gonna be it's the BMF title. It's the BMF card for a reason. It's going to be a fun fight, and we're going to see just a ton of just badass, just back and forth, just striking battles. Honestly, that's the main basis of this card, and it's going to be so much fun. I
Yeah,
hope everyone has a great week. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Stay safe. Um, and we will definitely see you next Wednesday when we break down this card and the next card.
yeah, absolutely, Cody. Thank you for coming on. A lot of dudes swinging leather, swinging fists, and chins galore on this card. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. This will be up on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you get your podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Blood and Beer, hell of a show, hell of a night. Thank you, everybody. Can't wait for a hell of a night of fights this Saturday. Hell of a day of fights with the PFL. Goodness gracious. Have a great night. Good night. Goodbye.